We are back on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio, News Talk, 1180, 1230, KGEO, and 1410, KERI.
You know, Jenifer, as we get to the spiking issue, what irritates me most is that they're able to do that. But in the private sector, under Social Security, they take an average of over 35 years, and you get the average. It just isn't fair.
Right. Well, I don't know if you want me to talk about fair as far as Social Security. I don't think it's fair that, I know that I'm paying into it my entire life, which I think is fine, but I know that I'm never going to see a dime of that because it's probably going to be gone by the time I'm ready to retire.
I've heard that a lot. I'm not sure I believe that, only because I don't think any politician who ever wants to get reelected would go along with that, because the uproar would be just so incredible. But
true.
Yeah,
so
we'll see.
So you wouldn't mind going along with Paul Ryan's idea of setting up a private pension then?
No, I've lost a lot of faith in government, and it's because of just all the shenanigans that go on, mostly at the state level.
So the more you look at it, the less faith you have in it.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty common, I think.
I know, but it gives me motivation to maybe help inflict change. At least locally. Yeah,
at least it kind of gives you a little more motivation in your job. So tell us about double dipping as far as the pensions.
That's just when an example I can think of is, somebody's in a county position for 30 years and they retire with their county pension, and then, maybe they run for office or something, and then they can, get another county pay, and then they get that other pension as well. So they're actually getting two pensions at the instead of it filtering back into one account.
Jenifer, this is probably a little bit before your. Well, actually, I know it's a little before your time, but Clay might remember this gentleman. I think his name was Earl Younger. He's the biggest example I've ever seen of quadruple dipping. He was, I think, he was in the military. Then he was the city attorney for L.A. County. Then he was the Attorney General for the state. Then he had another position. He ended up with 4 different retirements, making a heck of a lot more retired than he could ever make working in the public sector in any position. So, it's atrocious.
Did he earn all that?
Did he earn it? Well, yeah, sure. It's only relative. Did he earn it? That was the system, so you can't blame him. He just worked it.
He took his benefit. He took advantage of the system.
He took advantage of the system. He didn't do anything illegal. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about your organization a little more, and also about you. I understand. Well, you went to Cal Lutheran, which we talked during the break. My daughter went there, and Clay and I both used to live in Thousand Oaks. But I understand you worked for Congressman Bono at one time, Sonny Bono.
No, not Sonny Bono.
Wife.
His
the wife.
Widow. Yeah, Mary Bono.
Oh, okay.
I worked. I did my internship there actually. I was an intern, but they were letting me. They were in between press secretaries at the time, so I was actually writing press releases. And my claim to fame is I was quoted in the L.A. Times once. I was really excited. I kept it.
What is she like?
She's awesome. She's one of the nicest people that I've ever met. She's she's really into health and fitness, and which is great, but it kind of made me feel bad. Here I am 20 years younger, and I'm like, she's in so much better shape and health than I am. But she's great, and luckily because I was doing the press releases, I got to work pretty closely with her and with our chief of staff. Mm-hmm. So I had a great time. I loved working over there.
I understand she gave up skiing.
Thank
I would too.
Yeah, thank you, Clay. I know Clay wants to talk to you about prison realignment, but before we do that, your organization, I know earlier this year, and we were fortunate enough, I guess there was 2 outlets that had Dick Morris on. We were one of them, thanks to you, and I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
But that was great having Dick Morris for your fundraiser.
Oh, good.
Who are you planning on having in the future? Anybody else like that?
Yeah, we're looking into some big names for our next fundraiser, and Mike and Kathy Steyer were so nice enough and gracious enough to let us use their home again. So I think it's going to be a great event. We had a lot of positive feedback last in June, and we're hoping to make it bigger and better coming up here.
Well, obviously, keep us in mind for whoever you have.
I will.
Okay.
We're probably going to do it when the weather's a little cooler, too.
Good.
I made that note to self.
Good. Our guest by phone, Jenifer Pitcher, Community Liaison for Kern Citizens for Sustainable Government.
So, Jenifer, tell us your thoughts on prison alignment.
On the prison realignment, our issue, we were looking at it not so much from the AB 109 perspective, because I know that's, it wasn't any decision of anyone at the county.
Okay, AB 109, a lot of people don't know what that is.
That's the legislation that was caused by the Supreme Court decision. Basically, I'll give some background. It started way back in the 70s when inmates were gaining what's called the Inmates' Bill of Rights. And so they're gaining more and more rights as the years progress. And then several years ago, I think a group of inmates sued the state of California for inadequate health care caused by overcrowding in prisons. And California does have an overcrowding issue. So it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court decided that California has to reduce their prison population by, I think it was 40,000 inmates. And so the state enacted AB 109, or they passed AB 109, which basically says anybody who was arrested after October 1st, 2011, that would normally go to state prison will now go to county jails. And then inmates who would go to state parole would now go to county probation. So basically what they did is they just passed the problem to the county.
Sure.
And
they just passed the buck down. But
right.
We can't afford this. I mean,
no,
obviously.
And what they did is they passed the buck down, and then they didn't give them enough money. So I think, this year, Kern County in total got, I think, $21 million. And our projections, they were projecting we would have a certain number of inmates come in, and our actual numbers have been double what the CDCR has projected. So, I feel bad for the elected and appointed officials who are having to deal with this issue. It's a horrible issue to be dealing with, but at the same time, I think public safety needs to be a priority in Kern County. But I think also economic sustainability does as well. And there has to be a way to marry the two. To find ways to protect the public while also protecting the taxpayers' dollars. And one issue that came up was this AB 900, which is funding for a new jail. And the state would give the county $100 million to build a new jail. In 2008, it was a 23% match, so Kern County would have to put in $23 million. Well, at the time, they didn't have the money because of the recession. And so they revamped AB 900 a little bit and made it a 10% match. And so the sheriff came to the board last week and asked the board to put up the matching funds. And they voted to do so. But it's in total going to cost about $22 million because they have to spend $12 million updating this water treatment facility. And then they're also going to spend more millions of dollars updating Laredo. So they're building this new jail that's going to house medium and maximum inmates. And our biggest issue is, why build a new jail when you have empty ones sitting there, through the community correctional facilities? And so we made the argument that, these facilities need to be at least considered. They can operate cheaper. And, and the CAO's office and the sheriff's office looked into, possibly using those. And ultimately it's the sheriff's decision. And he said that it doesn't work for what he's what he needs. But our other issue is, okay, so you're going to build this new jail, and it's going to cost $27 million a year to operate it, and there's no funding source identified. So,
incredible.
And
that in essence is perfectly in line with our mission of that's not sustainable if you don't have a funding source.
And the other problem with our liberal legislature is $450,000 was just paid to a prisoner for getting the West Nile disease in prison.
Right.
Yeah.
Jenifer, we're going to have to, that unfortunately is going to call it a day for us.
And I talked enough. Talked your ear off.
You did a great job.
Just kidding.
Thank you. We'd love to have you come back.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'd love to come back. Thank you so much.
We'll see you in 167 hours on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio News Talk 1180.